Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. Today I have a first impression on the Louis Vuitton Cluny BB. I asked you guys on my unboxing video if this is something that you would be interested in, and a lot of you said yes, so thank you so much for that. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you do, make sure and give it a thumbs up, and without further ado, let's get started, shall we? I've been getting a lot of questions on this bag since the unboxing, so I thought that I would incorporate those into this video as well. That way if you're looking to add this bag to your collection, you have a little bit more information. I do have some notes in front of me. If you see me looking down, you know why. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything. But one of the questions that I got asked the most was about the magnetic closure. A lot of people wanted to know if the magnetic closure was pretty strong, does it end up opening up on its own or anything like that. And personally, I have not had any issues with this magnetic closure opening up on its own, which I think is really, really great, regardless of how I was carrying the bag. Whether it was on the crook of my arm, hand carry, crossbody, or on my shoulder, I did not have any issues with this opening up. So if you are in a crowded area, you don't have to worry that the slightest bump is going to open it. Now I also wanted to kind of play around with what I was carrying to see if that also had an effect on if it opened up or not. So sometimes I would carry a little bit more, sometimes I would carry a little bit less, and I tried it out all 4 ways and I still didn't experience that this ended up opening up. Sometimes I was sitting there like shaking it violently to see if that would also have an effect on it, especially if you're out and about and if, you know, with the movement that you create, that maybe that would end up happening, and still I didn't have any issues. I do wonder how the magnetic closure will hold up over time. You know, the more and more that I carry the bag, I wonder if it'll end up opening up on its own as time goes by. So that is something to take into consideration. I don't think so, but as of right now, the magnetic closure is very, very strong. Now, as far as what I end up carrying in here, I usually carry anywhere from 5 to 7 daily essentials. It really depends on the day. But what I really like is how easy it is to see everything at a glance. I don't think that this bag is too fussy. I'm able to see everything. I'm able to retrieve items very quickly if I'm at the checkout. So I think that's really, really great. Of course, I have a little bit more space for a few other small leather goods, but anywhere from the 5 to 6 that I carry, it ends up fitting in here nicely. Sometimes I have had to put other small leather goods on top of each other, but even then I'm able to move them over to the side very easily without necessarily something kind of sliding in its place, if that makes any sense. So again, I carry anywhere from 5 to 7 essentials, and I also had a lot of people ask if I can end up getting away with a bottle of water in there. So I thought I would give you guys a little bit more of a visual, but here is a standard size bottle of water, and if I go to put this inside of the bag, currently I have 6 small leather goods. It definitely takes away from how much I can carry, but it also doesn't really fit because the bottle of water is just a tad too high, so I can't really end up closing it. Of course, you can also take out a few small leather goods and put this guy sideways. I am way too chicken to try that out because I have a feeling that, I don't know, it might end up opening up, who knows, but that is also another option if you have to carry water with you. So it's all a matter of what it is that you want to use with you as far as the contents of your handbag. But once again, very easy to see everything at a glance, which I absolutely love. Now, the majority of the time I was using this bag on the crook of my arm, and I gotta tell you, it's not as uncomfortable as I thought it would be. I thought for sure that maybe the handle might end up digging in a little too close for comfort, but I was actually surprised because sometimes when I would load up a little bit more, kind of like what I told you guys in the beginning, or if I was carrying a little bit less, if it was for an extended period of time, of course you would be able to see that handle regardless, but it still wasn't as uncomfortable as I thought it would be. I don't know if it's necessarily just because of this handle. It's not rounded, it's not too thin, it's a little bit thicker, so I'm wondering if maybe that ends up helping to absorb the whole, you know, digging into your skin or whatnot. But yeah, it's a lot more comfortable to use on the crook of my arm than some of the other handbags that I have in my collection. Another thing that I really like, that I'm really just enjoying, is just the overall silhouette. And whenever I go to use this bag crossbody, I really appreciate the fact that it's not too bulky, because it does end up tapering at the very top. So it's not too thick, it's not too obnoxious, so that way when I go to use it as a crossbody bag, or when I do put it on my shoulder, I'm not necessarily bumping into things. You know, I know that's happened to me from time to time with some of the handbags that I currently own. I really like them, but they might end up being maybe a little too bulbous, or they end up kind of protruding off of my body, and I didn't really find that this ends up happening with the Cluny BB. So I thought I would also mention that just in case. I also had a lot of you guys ask if this handbag ends up leaning forward forward on its own when it's completely empty or whether it's completely full. And I did notice that it would start to lean forward if I was trying to set it down on a surface that wasn't flat and if the handbag was completely open. And even then it would start to tilt forward, but it wouldn't completely fall over either, which makes me really, really happy because as many of you know, whenever it comes to adding a handbag to my collection, as much as I like some of them, if I go to set them down on a flat surface, if it ends up turning into a beautiful mess, if it leans forward or backward, that drives me nuts. So the fact that this does end up tilting forward only if you're trying to put it on a surface that's not flat like carpet or something, you know, something like that, it does end up tilting, but it doesn't completely fall over. If you go to put this down on a table or on a chair, you don't have any issues and it doesn't lean forward whatsoever. So I thought I'd throw that out there just in case. But I absolutely love the structure of this handbag. I don't foresee it, you know, kind of losing its shape or anything like that just because of the construction that it has. And I don't know, I just feel that it's really, really simple. As many of you know, I do end up going for very structured handbags and very simple handbags because in my opinion, simplicity speaks volumes, but to each their own. And I think that this is a very timeless piece, you know? It's something that I think that I can carry for the next 20 years and not get sick of it. And of course you have that fun element of the hot pink interior, but from the outside, you only see a little bit of the pink, you know? So it's timeless to a certain extent, but then it has a whole lot of fun going on the interior. I don't know, I don't know. But I did wanna let you guys know, kind of like what I talked about on the unboxing video, I did decide to completely remove the key bell. I think that this key bell is super, super cute. I also found it to be very fussy to get in and out of the handbag, you know, and it's not to the point where this guy would end up getting stuck inside. I just felt that whenever I'd go to open up the, you know, the flap closure, it would just start to kind of flail around and it was just driving me nuts. So I took it off completely and I don't know, maybe down the road I might end up hot stamping it because like I said before, I think it's super, super cute and it is a D-ring. So that way if you do want to add a bag charm, you can end up doing that. But altogether, I just found it to be a little too fussy and just kind of flailing around on the wind. And I don't know, maybe maybe I'll change my mind later on. But as of right now, it's not something that I'm too keen on, you know, putting back on the handbag. Now, as far as the strap that this bag comes with, it's no surprise that I'm not too fond of it, kind of like what I discussed in the unboxing video. I do appreciate that it allows you to use the bag in other ways, such as a crossbody or on your shoulder, and it also adds that really fun element, a nice pop of color, but personally, I just find it to be a tad too busy, just because this is very simple, so when I go to add this, it's not necessarily something that I would gravitate towards. So this past weekend, I was using this bag quite a bit, and I was trying to use it in as many different ways as possible so I can give you guys a little bit more info. And I also found one other thing that I'm not too crazy about. And even though it does have the smooth leather, which makes it very, very soft and you don't have to worry that it's necessarily going to be digging into your skin, I also found that when I'd go to use this as a shoulder bag, it would end up rolling off of my shoulder and that drives me nuts. Granted, I don't have the best shoulders on the planet. I've said this before. I do have an issue with handbags just kind of sliding off. If you have broad shoulders, it might end up working out a little bit better, but just for myself, regardless of the type of clothing that I was wearing, whether it was a jacket or a cardigan or anything like that, I noticed that this would end up sliding off. And it got to the point where I actually just ended up leaving the strap completely off, and I kind of had it like hanging as a decorative piece, kind of like I do on my Givenchy Antigona. I might eat my words down the line, and I do appreciate the fact that it is a very soft leather and it also gives you that versatility, so you can use it as a crossbody or on your shoulder. It just ends up sliding off a little more than I would like, and again, I'm not too crazy about the colors. So if you like the handbag and if you're not crazy about the strap either, you can always go for a different type of strap, kind of like what I did. I ended up purchasing a Pochette Métis strap from a friend, and this for me ends up working out a lot better. I like the length a lot better, plus it is adjustable, so that way it's not the whole one size fits all, and I can adjust it so that the bag doesn't sit so high up on my torso. So I really do like that aspect. Or if you do have other Louis Vuitton handbags within your collection that also have straps, kind of like the Speedy 25 bandolier, you can also use it with that. Or you can go for a different fashion house if that's something that you want to do. You know, it's all a matter of personal preference. Now, the last thing that I wanted to discuss is actually the question that I got the most. And I had a lot of people ask me if I might end up having issues later on down the line with the flap closure, if I might end up experiencing any type of glazing or cracking issues, just because it is very similar to the opening of the pochette métis. And I'd be lying if I said that that wasn't a possibility. Of course it's a possibility. Whether I'm carrying a little bit more or a little bit less, that is something that might end up happening down the line. Right now I'm crossing my fingers that that doesn't end up happening. And another thing that does come to mind is I wonder if maybe because this does have the textile lining versus the microfiber, it's not as thick. I wonder if that'll end up helping it over time so that it doesn't end up having that glazing issue or that cracking issue. If any of you guys do own the Cluny BB in the Monogram, or if you also have it in the Epi Leather, let me know in the comment section down below if you've had any issues with glazing or with cracking on the side here, because like I said before, it is very similar to the pochette métis. So if I end up carrying a little bit more, if I end up carrying a little bit less, the way that I open and close the handbag, you know, that is a possibility that might end up happening. So right now I am just crossing my fingers that that definitely doesn't end up happening. But if it does, like always, I will share the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to anything that I talk about on my channel. Another thing, I noticed that I actually prefer to use this bag without this completely closed. I think that it makes it a lot easier to get in and out of it. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, who knows? But I personally just like to have this open and it still ends up closing, you know, without an issue. All in all, I absolutely love this bag. I absolutely love this bag. Sure, I had to make some adjustments in order for it to work out for my lifestyle, but I love the size, I love the structure, I like the fact that I can see all of my items at a glance. It fits all of my daily essentials, that gorgeous pink interior, and the fact that I'm able to use this on the crook of my arm and it's a lot more comfortable than I anticipated really ends up working out for me, you know. And unfortunately, yes, I had to say goodbye to one of my favorite bags, but I'm really excited to see what this bag has in store for me. I'm really excited to see how it's going to work out in the long run for my lifestyle, you know, and I will absolutely be doing an in-depth review the longer that I have it and the more that I use it, so I can give you guys more information. But I really do anticipate that this will be in heavy rotation within my collection. So here it is once again, the Louis Vuitton Cluny BB in the Monogram canvas. If any of you guys have this handbag in your collection, or if you have the Epi Leather one, like I said previously, let us know in the comment section down below how it's working out for you. But that does it for my video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to give you a little bit more information. If you enjoyed it, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button down below and hitting that bell so you're notified when I upload videos, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, and I'll see you guys later. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day.